And we are live.
Hey everyone, it's Ultra Podcast Z. My name is Manuel, leader of Rage Connections. I recently bought one of the limited edition Hyperkin controllers that's like themed after Oscar Mayer, and it just shipped.
Nice.
I
Oh, is that why you're talking about it on Facebook?
Yeah, because it's funny it actually showed up because like I was so glad it was on Amazon for like the normal price or what. I think it's just coming out, but like I had all this Amazon credit. I was like, I can't even buy gift cards, which is usually what I do because I don't like to buy junk. But I'm like, this is junk that I really want because it's Glizzy related. Yeah,
Lizzie related junk.
yeah, exactly. That's gonna be my go-to controller. I hope it doesn't break. I've had mixed results with Hyperkin, but whatever. Anyways, Josh, introduce yourself.
Hi there. My name is Josh. I am Photaku of Photaku Network, that being a photo otaku.
I'm still shocked by that. Have
You
you
still
have you guys
shocked
ever?
about the reveal or what?
Well, we
Yes,
both thought it was pho.
I still think
I
it's
could
fun.
enjoy
I don't believe you.
good
This is a psyop. This is
after
a lot.
ALA.
I don't know if JD was there, but have you ever heard the frog song? Is it called the frog song? The duck song. You ever heard
Duck
the duck
song.
song? Where it's all like the duck, like what does he ask for? Do you have any grapes? It's like, no, we just sell lemonade. Have you ever heard that song? I had never. It's like bum bum bum, and like any waddled away, waddle waddle, any waddle.
Waddle
Anyways,
on.
I don't know if anybody ever heard that song, but like I heard that for the first time at ALA because like Q or somebody in the room was like talking about waddle waddle, about like
Waddle waddle.
that they were gonna waddle away. And I had never heard that song, and I was like, "What the hell?" And it has like 700 million views on YouTube, and it's like one of those one of those songs. Like, what the fuck, like Baby Shark, but
Ink meme song.
yeah, but it's old. It's like from like 15 years ago. But yeah, anyway, yeah. What are we talking about today,
Okay.
JD? You lead us in.
Yeah, you decided we wanted to look forward to things in 2024 because sometimes it seems like there aren't a lot of good things. So let's see what are we hoping will be good in 2024, at least from our media.
Well, I'll say, like, if we're talking about media, that's another story. I'm hoping that we don't go back in time to 2016, if you know what I mean. But but if we're talking about media, that's another story. Uh, yeah, like it's funny 'cause I thought about this idea earlier. Like, I mean, because we didn't do it at all so far this year, but there's a lot of things that I'm like, oh, I'm looking forward to this, and I want to talk about it. But it's little things, like a lot of little things, like a movie, a TV show, a game, something like that. But Josh, what are you most looking forward to that's coming out some point this year? Hopefully, it's coming out.
Persona 3 Reload comes out this Friday, so I'm really excited for that.
Oh,
Yeah. And then also I am down for the not the re-release of the Trump campaign. I wish that would be like, yeah, I'm super excited for the Biden, what's it called?
Harris.
Season 2, but
let's be
that's
real.
just kind of
Let's not jump into the weeds here, but I don't know about you. Like, I'm not. I prefer it over Trump season, Trump re-airing, but I'm not exactly
yeah.
looking forward to Biden season 2 either. It's just
Okay,
it's just a lesser
We just
it's just a lesser of two show. I mean, the better of two shows.
yeah. We could have had Bernie, but we fucked that up. I don't know how many times, and now we're literally just gonna be constantly trying to be sure that Trump doesn't get that second one because but
okay.
about
Media.
things that are good
Yeah.
media
I'm
coming out.
surprised I have mixed hopes for Persona 3 because Persona 3 um we talked about this when it was first being announced. My big
Yeah.
gripe with it is that it's
Mhm.
not definitive.
Okay, you can argue if we want to be definitive or not because we live in a crazy ass world. So here's what's going to happen. We're going to get the release that we're going to get. All the people who had that release, at least in PlayStation 5, are going to have the opportunity to, for 15 goddamn dollars, buy a secondary what's it called, skin for the game in the female protagonist. They are not
Exactly.
going to do they're not going to do, but here's what I predict. They are not going to give us the same campaign with the female protagonist, okay? I think they're just going to kind of give us a reskin where they'll acknowledge that she's a girl, but we're not going to get the very unique like character interactions. That's what I think. They're gonna just give us like a more like passable version of it than the one on the PSP, but at least we will have enduring cutscenes. I can't. We were not going to get the answer, but if we were to get the answer, it will be DLC based on how Reload does. My bet. Yeah, no, that's what I think too. And I don't think it's going to be like the PlayStation Portable version, just so that you can say you have reasons to go to PlayStation Portable version that got re-released last year. So that's why I think if they do release her, it's going to be kind of like
Oh,
Virgil,
I
except
forgot
a
they did
little
that.
bit.
Sorry, keep going.
What happened?
I forgot they released the portable one too. That pisses me off. Anyways, keep going. Keep going. Sorry, I
Yeah,
didn't
so
mean to
I think
interrupt.
it's gonna be like Virgil from Devil May Cry, at least part 5, at least the part 5 version, where there'll actually be more acknowledgement and scenes and stuff. But I do not really see it being like I'd be surprised though. But I will say it'll be about 15 goddamn dollars. It'll be more so you can get the female protagonist and the just some slight changes. There'll be some voice work, so we'll see who will voice her. The community though has been good for Persona 5 when it hit Xbox. Or PC. There was a mod that they made where a friend of mine, I think the name is Alex Farron or something like that, but I remember that they actually dubbed. Like, so this was made by the community. They made a female Persona 5 protagonist, and they added unique like dubbings for like all the different summons. So like the community will do some really great stuff too, but I genuinely see that if Atlas is paying attention, they're probably going to give us something very similar to the Persona 5 mod thing, because I don't know why they wouldn't skip out on that. Um but yeah, and I think we might get the answer also, but the answer will also be DLC. Otherwise, we won't get the answer at all because everyone thought the answer was shit. So,
I'm just upset
yeah,
that like because I remember when Persona 3 came out the first time around. It was Persona 3, then there was Fez, which is funny because I remember when I bought 3, I didn't even
yeah,
play it that much until I mean, don't get me wrong, Fez didn't come out right away, but it still came out like within a year or so. And like,
yeah.
well, so when I'm like, I guess I'll play Fez. And then like 2 years later, the PSP version came out, and even though that technically was a downgrade, there was still like all the new content, and I'm like, oh. So
No, the
it
new
almost just
content was great.
it almost just I mean, to be honest, the PSP one's the one I actually ended up playing. I did play a bit of Fez, but like I said, by the time I got around to even that, the PSP one was on the horizon, and I'm like,
Mhm.
"Why are they doing that again? Why not just make a definitive Persona 3?" And I get, like, what you're saying, what Katsu's saying about, like, "Oh, if it does well, if it does well." You know how tired I am of that rhetoric, by the way, where it's all like, "Here's this thing, you don't actually really not the exact thing you want, but it'll determine if you get the thing you want." I hate
Yeah,
that
I like to
so
say
much.
that this is fighting game logic. That's why they were re-releasing some games like in 2011 of like older fighting games. So they started re-releasing them. They were saying they were like HD ports and stuff like that, like for Darkstalkers and all
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Um, but they were saying if this doesn't sell well, okay, a re-release that they didn't even fix, okay, like
I hate that
Darkstalkers has.
so much.
They have several different characters along several different versions of the game, and they couldn't even give us like even like a Mugen rip copy of that. And they were saying if this sells well, we'll make a new 3D Darkstalkers, and they never did
You know
because
how many
at this
you know how many times
look,
Capcom alone does that? Like, they're still saying it now. Like, I've been waiting for a 7th, I forget what number we're on, a 7th Phoenix Wright game, and, like, when there was talk of that when there was talk of that, like, around the Switch when they started releasing the upgraded versions onto new consoles, they're like, "Oh, if you
yeah,
buy the updated one, maybe we'll think about it." And then, of course, they didn't do it. Then it's like, "Oh, we're gonna
no, no,
release
it's
the Great Ace Attorney." It's like, "Maybe if you buy this one, we'll do a new one." They didn't do it. It's like, now they have
it's
the Apollo Justice. "No, if you buy this one." Anyway, keep
It's
going.
because Keiji Inafune fucked them back in. Sorry to use strong language, but Keiji Inafune messed them up at like the turn of the mid aughts because Keiji thought that or I should say Mr. Inafune or Inafune-san, he thought that the Western gaming market was the future and that the Japanese market should emulate that. But the problem is that the American market works for the American market. The Japanese market works for the Japanese market, as well as when it comes to getting fans actually involved in stuff. I don't know. Like there were a lot of decisions he was making in Capcom to the point where like he wasn't president, he wasn't CEO, but he seemed to have pull just because he worked on a lot of different projects.
It's
And so like
he's
up until
the
the point
oh go ahead up until the point what
where he left, because like that's why they were making fun of Mega Man for a good hot sec there. He didn't show up in Marvel vs. Capcom Ultimate. He had his like bad box art in the Tekken X what's it called? I mean
oh god
Oh,
the
Tekken
Tekken
X,
Street
or
Fighter
Street Fighter
game.
X
Tekken.
Tekken.
Yeah.
But like I think that still kind of permeated through it, and like Capcom just didn't know where to go because a lot of fans were like upset illegitimately at one point, because it just kind of felt like they shouldn't necessarily be too catered to, because yeah, not everyone's gonna buy something, especially when millennials are like barely getting like their own money and stuff like around the same time. And then the on disc DLC stuff that they were pulling was very shady. It was just kind of
Oh
like, I
my
already have the
god.
DLC, but you're making me pay $15 to like somewhat like complete the assets and stuff like that. It
It's
was all it was
it's
all
funny.
bad, but like
There was a video about this about the I think it's about actually specifically about the Tekken X Street Fighter game, what the fuck it's called. Um, and there was a video that somebody did. They had interviewed somebody at Capcom at the time, and they were like, and the American side of Capcom's like, guys, you can't put it on the disc. People will crack it on day one. And Japan Capcom was appearing like, what do you mean they'll do that? That's illegal. I'm like, a poor naive Capcom.
yeah, but I think it is like I do agree it's dumb. Like there's people there that enjoy it, but I mean, what did this is Atlas, not Capcom, but what did Capcom do? They could have released what's it called? Devil May Cry 5 with Virgil also in the game, you know, future and everything. But instead they waited for a definitive edition of it to come out, which just had a little bit more speed, and then you added Virgil to it, some new cutscenes. It genuinely, but here's the thing that profited them back when they released definitive versions for both DMC, and Devil May Cry 4. Devil May Cry 4 selling way more units than DMC, which was fun. It is a fun game, but
I hated
DMC
DMC.
is a
Emo
is a
Devil May
very
Cry.
compromised like thing that exists. I think it would have been cooler if they just took what they had there, did not call it Devil May Cry, and just like had all the like uniqueness to Devil May Cry, because um you know, like you know how we have Bayonetta, you know, we got Bayonetta, that one's pretty dope. I feel like
It,
they
it,
probably could have done this.
it's funny because like we're talking about KG and Ifune, and don't get me wrong,
Yeah,
they're definitely a different caliber of people, but like the way everyone rags on KG and Ifune these days, rightfully so, about how he like had these weird decisions, how he didn't create Mega Man, even though he will tell you that left and right, and
yeah, he did
Capcom will
not.
say so, um, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We look back on
He's
it more
called the
critically.
father of Mega Man.
Yeah, we look back on him more critically. I always feel like one day, Tetsuya Nomura will be that way too. And if you don't know who Tetsuya Nomura is, he's the
Oh no,
Kingdom
I know
Hearts.
who he is. Kingdom
Yes,
Hearts, bro. I've been
because
following
like,
that.
oh my god, I hate what he's doing to the Final Fantasy remake. And for those who don't know, I've seen people like not know this.
Is everyone
He,
excited? Are
all
we?
he did, okay, I'm looking
He
forward to
did the
finally
artwork.
playing. Thank you, thank you. I was gonna say all he did in the original was the artwork. He did not write shit. He did not direct shit. That was Yoshi. That was Kita. I forget his first name. Something Kitase. And Hironobu Sakaguchi was still involved somewhere in that one as well. But he was not involved like pretty much at all. He was really new at Square at the time, and somehow they gave him like carte blanche to do this fucking remake. I guess because of Kingdom Hearts. But look at Kingdom Hearts
It's
is the
because of Kingdom
epitome.
Hearts.
No, Kingdom Hearts is the epitome of that could have been a huge mainstream franchise. You had fucking
It's
Disney.
not.
Oh,
It's not. Are you saying
it's
it's
not
not?
mainstream. It's only for the hardcore. Like okay,
It's at
There are people
Disneyland.
who play it
I
just because it's Disney, Manuel.
I make fun of Final Fantasy 15 all the time about having the most impossible thing to get into, but Kingdom Hearts is even worse. Like, I don't want to rehash that AVGN video everyone makes fun of, but like, there's 3 Kingdom Hearts games on paper, but you know that's not the way you have to play them. And when they re-released that fucking rhythm game, I think it's the most recent, like technically canon Kingdom Hearts game. That I thought it was just a rhythm game. Then somebody's like, "Oh, did you know this is Kyrie's perspective when Chain of Memories was happening or whatever?" I'm like, someone needs to stop Mr. Nomura. Someone needs to fire him. But And that's a real thing, by the way. But
Okay,
anyway,
okay. When you
what he's
say
doing
that,
with yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but like I do have to agree because he is. I think just because he had Kingdom Hearts, and that was just simply because it was the brainchild of like a SquareSoft exec who was like at the right time, right place to talk with the Disney exec, and they were just kind of like, "Well, who are we gonna have with it?" And she's like, "Oh, well, Nomura seems to be really good with the art and whatnot, and we see if maybe we can have like this whole thing go down." Like at the start, it didn't seem bad. I do feel that the constant milking and everything needing to
For
have
the
purpose.
I googled it right now. The entire series is still not over 100 million copies, and Kingdom Hearts 3 is 6 billion copies. Was about to be 7. So what I mean, this could have been Minecraft. That's what I'm trying to explain. Like okay,
Oh,
that's too extreme. But what I'm trying to say is this should have been like the game that everyone got into because it's Disney. But for some reason, they couldn't just make a Disney RPG with keys. They had to be like, oh, it has to be all this behind the scenes shit, all these, and then it got to a point in the middle, the non-numbered games where I'm still confused. It's like, honestly, I don't really care about whatever the fuck Nomura is writing for like the final. I don't want to call them Final Fantasy characters, but the RPG characters. Like, I don't
mhm.
care about them that much. Like, I just want to fucking play an RPG version of Little Mermaid. Just give me that, you know?
Listen, you're probably like me, where it still kind of feels like, and to the extent it's just because it was main console launches, even though some of the other games are still pretty good. Uh, Sonic, what's it called? Kingdom Hearts 2 is really good. It's still really
Okay,
good. I
I
like
will admit
the pacing.
1 and 2 are great. It's what came
No, one's
afterwards, I think, that kind of
okay.
like
One is okay. One is good. It is good, but like when you go between the controls of one and two, it's like one is clearly superior to the other.
I mean, that is true, but that's for a lot of games. I don't know. I just think it's weird. But anyways, what he's doing to the Final Fantasy VII series is annoying as fuck because I can only assume this fucker sat down and watched all the MCU movies
Hmm.
and decided in the year of our Lord 20, whatever the fuck I think the first one came out, 2020 or whatever the first
Yeah.
remake came out, that he's all like, you know what Final Fantasy VII needs? A multiverse. Because spoiler alert for anyone who has never played Final Fantasy VII Remake,
Hmm.
it's a multiverse, and not even just within like it being another telling. No, I mean like the game keeps doing all this bullshit where it's all like, oh, in this timeline, like Zack's alive. Spoiler alert: Zack lives.
Yeah, be careful with that
The
spoiler out
Avalanche
there.
characters live. I'm calling it now. Eris is gonna live. Like,
No, dude, Eris to like, to another multiverse thing I'm looking forward to. I'm pretty sure it's not coming out next year, but only because Netflix is terrible about when they have release dates for these things. JoJo's Part 7. Aerith is just funny Valentine. Like, she can see through all the multiverses now. I genuinely don't think that she's
oh,
going to. I don't even know if she would die. Like the way they've changed up everything. The
she's not
first
gonna
the,
die.
the
She's like Doctor Strange in the Endgame movies because she's always all like she sees the other shit going on, and it's like he fucking just decided to make like Endgame and not Endgame, Infinity War and Endgame, I guess, like as fucking Final Fantasy VII, and I hate it. I'm still gonna play it,
but
but I
no,
hate it.
I agree. I agree. It was not favorable in terms of wanting to play a remake because and for also people who haven't played it, and I'm just saying it's interesting. I didn't play it till like middle school, and even then I had like a friend give me a whole guide and everything to get through. It's a very big game, even for like a PlayStation game. Like it's very big,
Oh,
but
Yeah,
yeah, it's a big game. Just ask Manuel and Warren how long they've been
we're
playing the
still
original
playing
Final
it.
Fantasy VII.
We're still playing
yeah.
it on playing it tomorrow. By the way, we're trying to get a gold chocobo tomorrow. I mean, actually, we're gonna get a black one tomorrow, but we're on our way to getting a gold chocobo. It's taking a couple streams, but anyways, go on.
Happy breeding, happy breeding. I hope you get
Yeah,
it. Remember to go to the jungle first in that one spot. The
yeah.
guide says you need a golden chocobo, but you can get there with a black chocobo just fine. I don't know why it said you need a gold chocobo for the spot. I'm like, it's on land I can already land on. I
Yeah.
don't need the gold chocobo. But like, um, yeah, sorry, the first disc of the 3-disc epic that
Ooh,
is
shit, sorry, that's
PlayStation
my
1
neck
Final Fantasy
cracking.
games. Like the first disc covers a lot more than what's in technically the remake. The
Oh god,
remake's
yeah.
time The remake time frame is just kind of weird in terms of a game that you could play for like a good up to like maybe 40, 60 hours. It's like, yeah, that already seems like, good gameplay content if you're like first exposed to it. But the problem is that there's so many inside jokes that make reference, not inside jokes, references, just references to the first Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VII Advent Children,
Mhm.
and I feel like there was something else in there that I forgot, but uh, you can't really just jump into remake. Oh, here we go. Crisis Core. Crisis Core is the other one also. You can't really just jump into 7 and just feel like, oh, everything's gonna go okay. It feels like if anybody's catching on to this because they probably already heard that Aerith had died and it's been memed to death. So that's why it's
I've
just
been
kind of like,
trying to.
yeah, people,
Oh, sorry. I was
people
gonna
are
say. Oh, sorry. You go first. We just talked over each other again.
people
You go.
people are aware there is media that is out there. There are people here that like have been waiting for the remake since like that techno demo on the PlayStation 3.
Oh my
So they
god.
assume that the big audience of it is the people coming back. But for anybody who just still hadn't played the 7th one, because a lot of people will say I'm not going to play that jank ass game with its block polygon like aesthetic. It's you do so much in disc 1. Disc 1 is literally probably like the most that you'll do between all the other
Exactly.
discs. Disc 2 is still a little long, but at some point it ends, so you just need disc 3, and then by disc 3 is all endgame related content. So really, the amount that you even got out of just the remake is like you left Midgard. There's like literally a whole ass other planet that you get to explore. You have so much content that you can do. You can even hit up the Yuffie, what's it called?
Wutai?
Island, the where she's from.
Oh yeah.
Um is it Watatsumi?
Wutai.
Utai.
Watatsumi's
It's.
Wutai, my
from
bad.
Genshin.
My
I
bad,
was about
thank
to
you.
say, like, I was thinking that too. I was like, wait, are we playing Genshin? I only know that. I've only heard people mention it, but
Um,
I don't know.
but yeah, no,
Are you trying to say that the game works for newcomers? Because I don't think it does. That's the issue. That's actually my funniest issue about it. Because whenever I talk about how I don't like the remake because of what it did to the story, people are always like, "Oh, well, if you like it, play the original game." But I'm like, guys,
don't
have you
understand,
played?
like,
No, have you played Final Fantasy VII Remake, green, fresh, brand new? Because I like to look at things like that, and I'm like, there's no way somebody can play this and understand most of it without having played the, because I've heard the argument it's actually a sequel and technically it is, but it's like no matter how you look at it, it technically is. But it's like, so you kind of have to know Final Fantasy VII original for this bullshit, and I, I, uh, I don't know. It's, I get making the Midgar section longer. I think there's a lot of padding that happened in the first remake. I hate that they called it a remake. I hate that they called it, that was
that
clearly some
was a rug
marketing
pull.
bullshit.
It was not, yeah,
That was
no.
marketing bullshit. That's annoying. And then I also love that when Remake came out, they're all like, "It's gonna take 5 years for the next one to happen," and everyone got upset. And it's like, no, we were kidding. It'll take way shorter, but it actually did take 5 years. I think it took 4. But
To be
it's
fair,
like,
Manuel, you can't really blame them
I
for
know
the
the
events of
pandemic,
2020.
but still, it actually did take the 5 years that they said the first time, and it's like, oh shit. But I've been saying this on the stream, and I've been trying to point it out, and some of it's lost through all like the 30 hours we played it so far. But there's so much cool little moments in 7 that you don't realize because, like Josh said, it's been memed to death. People think they know it, and they put their own thoughts into it, like reverse. It changes the way it actually was, like sort of Mandela affecting it. But
Yeah,
you do not see Sephiroth at all until
no.
the flashback sequence. And when he gets the reveal, it's this big deal. And you don't think about that. And the fucking remake, and by the way, that flashback sequence happens after Midgar. But
Yes.
he's all over the fucking
Yeah,
remake.
no, it's very because it's this multiversal thing where like it's trying to course correct for the sake of Genova, and the only reason you would get that is because of just what Advent Children is, since Advent Children was just trying to say, "Oh no, Genova is unkillable. It will find a way to make that ultimate dream come true of using the planet as another planet to crash into another planet and do it like over and over again." I also remembered the other game. I remember the other game that's referenced in this. It's Dirge of Cerberus, especially with the Integrate
Oh my
DLC, because all those fuckers are there. You know,
god. Why?
Okay,
Why bring up Dirge of Cerberus? Nobody liked that game, and I know some people. I know Fangy plays. Some people like it now, but
Oh, no.
nobody liked that game when it came
No,
out.
I'm just saying we've been on
I
this
didn't
one
like
for a
it either.
while. Do we want to move on to something else?
No, I don't. I
No,
want to
let's
talk about
stick.
this
Let's
some
still
more.
stick here. Let's stick
Okay.
here. I have feelings
Actually,
about
before-
this.
So do we at
You
least want to talk
something
about
else this
Rebirth
year.
rather than harping on Remake anymore?
Okay. Before we come back to before we circle back to the game, I want to say the point that I was originally going to make, because I know I'm going to forget. I already forgot that. I remembered again. My point to even bringing up Tetsuya Nomura, besides to talk about Rebirth, was that I hope to God that one day, when Square Enix does this next millionth reshuffle, because they got rid of pretty much everyone Final Fantasy related OG over the years, I hope that they somehow get rid of him for whatever, or he leaves, and that we look back and then he tries to like crowdfund like Kingdom Hearts 5, but like the spiritual successor of just the RPG characters. And basically I hope he becomes Keiji Inafune, because I'm calling it now. There's going to be a point when people look back on shit Tetsuya Nomura did, they'll be like, man, he ruined so many things. And I want to point it out that I was saying it. I've been saying this for years already, and I'll be saying it until that happens. Just like how I was calling out Keiji Inafune when he was like riding the Mighty Number 9 wave and shit like that. But yeah, anyways, let's go back. Rebirth.
Well, really quick though, to
Yes.
end on some of the comments that you have right there, I will agree. Nomura has outlived a lot of stuff when pushing Kingdom Hearts. Like game trailers literally tried to do their whole timeline section where they had a big Kingdom Hearts thing. They were even at Fanime at one of the years also, and yeah, no, they're defunct now. Like straight up, it should have been what the Kingdom Hearts timeline should have been to game trailers what Five Nights at Freddy's is to Matt
No,
Pat.
you don't mean
But
Kingdom Hearts outlived? Kingdom Hearts outlived Square. I've been on this rant before,
yeah,
but Square doesn't exist anymore. Enix, a publisher, bought Square. They're the surviving entity. They merged technically, but most of the staff is Enix staff, because Square had all these
yeah.
bankruptcy type things that they were doing turn of the century, like the Honolulu studio and that fucking
Thank you,
movie,
Final Fantasy
Parasite Eve.
Experience
Yeah,
Edition.
they were like failing left and right. So yeah, the first game I think was actually I know the first game was still Square, right? Squaresoft.
Yes, that
'Cause
was one of the
yeah.
last games Squaresoft made.
So like after that, there you go. Talking about things Kingdom Hearts outlived. Kingdom Hearts outlived the company that made it. And honestly, that's a topic for a much longer video. But there's a whole thing about like how, if you notice, that's when the times between games started like. And I know that JD's gonna be like, also game development takes long. You don't know, Manuel. Yes, I understand. But like that's also when it started taking like 10 years to do anything.
Well, I said that, and he was just doing a whole lot of other stuff, it seems, between them.
Oh yeah, and then honestly, the weird thing is thanks to like everyone either leaving on their own or like getting rid of people. I can't remember his name, but the guy who made, maybe it's Kitase, the guy who made the soccer games, he's the only OG Square guy still around. Everyone else kind of got either they left on their own or they got kicked out because of the merger. And it's like now Tetsuya Nomura, like any game that Square puts out that's an RPG or something, it seems to be like he is involved in it somehow. And it's like, why? Stop giving. This is not Tetsuya Nomura Enix, Tetsuya Nomura Square Enix.
It's just one of those. It's one of those situations where you just kind of like stumble forward despite whatever's going on, and you were giving more response. Like if they would have let him to just be that person who made all the cool artwork, like I'm down with that. But clearly, you need more writers to like head the thing in a proper direction. I mean, the other thing is all just generally also like development. I'm not sure if it was just catering specifically to Tetsuya Nomura or if there were like other things within the development. But like imagine we're in this timeline. Imagine the timeline where like Famicom, like Falcon or Famicom, I forget the name of the guy who did all the really cool like outfits for what's it called, King of Fighters 2006 in the 3D game.
Oh, I
Like,
wish.
and then he also showed up for Street Fighter and made some Street Fighter 5 and 4 outfits. Like, could you imagine if you were to give him the reins to make his own fighting game? Like,
I mean, there's a lot of things that we could imagine here. Imagine if Mistwalker like actually kept making RPGs and we kept like, for those who don't know, Mistwalker is a studio that most of the Final Fantasy, like, sorry, not Final Fantasy. Well, yes, Final Fantasy, but Mistwalker is a studio where a lot of the old Square employees went to initially, including Hironobu Sakaguchi, including Nobuo Uematsu, including tons of people that we don't really think about, but like the programmers, the artists, etc., etc. And they made some really good games, but they released them for the Xbox 360, and they were like some of the casualties of that whole push into the Japanese market that, like, depending on how you look at it. And they also made one for the Wii. I fucking love Last Story, but like,
They released Fantasia a
anyway.
couple of years ago, but it was on Apple
Well,
Arcade
yeah,
for a while.
they still technically exist, but like, I think even now it's kind of just Hironobu Sakaguchi, like when a few homies just hanging out, you know, releasing mobile games. And I guess technically Fantasia is not mobile. Well, it is mobile. But you know what I
It's
mean.
available on mobile, but it is also
Yeah.
available on Apple TV and PC, or I guess Mac devices.
Anyway, yeah, I'm looking forward to Rebirth. I mean,
Yeah,
I did not mean to say that.
Rebirth.
I did not mean to say that. I did
You
not.
did not mean to say that you're looking forward to Rebirth, but we're
I
just gonna
am.
talk about
I want to play
Rebirth just
Rebirth,
cause.
but I am not looking forward to the bullshit that I'm gonna like. I know I'm gonna want to break my controller because they already like Hatu said, like Spy Game DLC. I agree this would be like the Save Aerith DLC, which is funny because if you remember, that was a meme when they announced the actual remake, like 7, 8 years ago when they first announced it. The meme was like, "Oh, in today's economy, it's like pay $5 to save Aerith." That's exactly what's gonna happen. That's not even a joke. It's like that's exactly what's gonna happen. I hate it. I
What
hate it.
what I'm like, I guess I'm not looking forward to. The only thing I look forward to with it is the
I'm looking forward to
gameplay, but in terms of what I'm not looking forward to with Rebirth, the pacing that we had from leaving Midgar, let alone then, hitchhiking. I'm not sure if we're going to be picking up at some random point post hitchhike. It could end up being that we might just skip content. It was like this whole thing just to get past the whole desert area, to get past that giant snake thing.
Oh yeah.
Like that
The
that was like something cool where it's just kind of like, yeah, clearly this is too powerful for us. We gotta like find a way across. That's how you get your chocobo. And then later you come to the reveal of like, because you don't see Sephiroth still, so it's like, oh, this thing just took out the thing that was keeping us from progressing. He must be crazy strong. And then you end up running into more of the followers in between, as well as all the little shenanigans with Shinra and stuff. And I'm just thinking, like, some of this stuff feels like it's just gonna be cut, even by what's on the
oh
trailers.
no, I don't think
It's
so. It's funny you say
You don't
that
think so?
because, like, no. First off, I wanna point out that I was laughing because the little guy's like, "Let her die. $5 is better than her." That just made me laugh. But no, we already saw this for sure. When there's a scene where Zack gets killed, they show that in the original Final Fantasy VII. We actually just saw that in the recent stream last week. You see the scene where they
Mhm.
kill Zack, and it's silent. Like it goes by like this. Like Zack puts Cloud down, runs off. You hear all this gunfire. He comes back. They shoot his ass, and they leave.
Yeah,
And then Cloud gets his sword and like screams in silence, whatever. When they
yeah,
remade that scene in Crisis Core, that became a long drawn out battle with all these crazy mechanics. It became like a 5 minute monologue. It became,
yes.
if you're watching the English dub, it's one of the cringiest, no, whatever the fucking you'll ever hear in your life. But like
Mhm.
very akin to like, no, from the prequels or whatever. So
Yeah.
the Japanese one's great, but the dub, whoever the fuck dubbed him for Cloud for the Crisis Core dub, you did a terrible job, or the director did. He should have told you to do another take. Anyway,
It was a
um,
different team back in the day.
but anyway, they've already padded the fuck out of that. My point is, if anything, I think all these little scenes are going to be expanded upon greatly. If Aerith actually does die, it's going to be a 10-minute long thing where everyone talks. Oh, she
Oh,
dies silent
that.
too. She dies silent too. It's gonna be this long, not even 10 minutes. It's gonna be an hour-long scene where everyone sits down and talks about it, and like and then she comes back to life because of bullshit. I'm pretty sure the thing you're talking about, the Midgar Zolom, they're gonna
Mhm.
show Sephiroth kill him, and it's gonna be this huge thing. They're gonna run from it, then Sephiroth's gonna show up, and somebody clip this because this is I'm probably predicting exactly what we're gonna see. And they're gonna be over a hill or something, about to leave, and they look back and they see like Sephiroth's like little flying spirit self like cutting it up and like impaling it. I think they're gonna pad all this out.
Okay.
I think it is, if they do
No, JD,
follow
we're not
Crisis
stopping.
Core.
This is the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth podcast. Leave us alone.
Yeah, like you say, we've been on this for like 30 minutes now.
I there's a lot to say. Tetsuya Nomura has much to answer for.
Okay. Sora will show up like the Flash in Superman,
Oh,
Batman v Superman, and
Honestly,
he'll say, "I've gone a little bit too far." He'll vanish out, and then Cloud will just like be super confused about it, but he'll explain it to everyone, and then Tifa will just go, "Hey, listen, you need to take you need to rest up." But then Barrett will say, "Nah, I just think he has a coma."
No, honestly, though, what the fuck? Honestly, I would not be surprised if fucking Sora showed up, because I didn't mention this earlier, but that's kind of what I feel like now that Tetsuya Nomura got control over like the actual main Final Fantasy VII series, not spin-off bullshit. He's like, you know
Yeah.
what this needs? You know what this needs? This needs to be tied into Kingdom Hearts. And I'm not even joking. It sounds like I'm joking, but I'm not. Maybe not throughout the main story, but I will be surprised. I won't go so far as to eat my hat or eat my PSP or
Still
some
waiting
shit.
for that,
But like,
Manuel.
I'd be surprised if they don't add Sora as some sort of random DLC in some version of the game at some point of its life. I also hate that this series is taking
Oh.
so long to come out because the memes are true. The original Final Fantasy VII remake came out on the PS4. And now Rebirth is already, we're like 4 years into the PS5 and it's barely coming out now. By the time whatever the third one's called, which I think will be the last one, we're going to be on the PS6. And by that point, I mean, they've already remade it for the PS5, but by that point, they're going to have to definitely remake the first one again.
Restoration.
And it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that this took, and it didn't need to take this long. Sorry, JD, I don't care. It did not need to take this long. If Tetsuya Nomura didn't want to make his multiverse of madness bullshit.
You're just saying that all of this, and like I said, I can
Mickey
agree.
versus
It just
Sephiroth.
stems to they could have just remade Final Fantasy VII. They probably didn't have to go too
They could
hard
have
with.
added shit. They could have changed the story. I wouldn't have cared, but they didn't have to do this multiverse bullshit. That's the biggest issue with it is. If you want Zack to live, let Zack live. If you want Aerith to live, let Aerith live. Don't pull up this whole thing with the planets fighting to like restore the timeline and blah blah blah. And Aerith sees all 822 versions of
So
what happened. That's what
okay,
I'm pissed
so
about. We don't need that shit.
so then you would have been fine if the bullet from Sang's gun that was supposed to have what's it called, killed what's it called, no, I'm saying the wrong person's name, Zack. If the bullet from Sang's gun that should have killed Zack, because in the OG he literally just goes flying when he gets back to Cloud all bloodied and stuff like that. Like what he would just like burst from the
Sorry.
ground from that spot, just been kind of like, oh dang, I should have told him to bury me deeper or something, and then he's like, well, at least I get to see my girlfriend. And then later it's just kind of like, oh, okay, not just we pulled a whole ass other Zack from a different timeline and he's like here now.
Dude, I mean, I don't know, man. Like they're gonna fuck this up. Sorry, I'm laughing at the whole thing about like I want the timeline where Goofy saves Aerith and they fall in love. I would love that too. By the
Oh,
Do
way,
you?
okay, i
in case
want i
any
want Zack I want Zack to fight Cloud. Okay, I want Zack to go up to Cloud and be kind of like, so, why'd you kidnap my girlfriend? And it's just kind of like, what do you mean? Why did I kidnap your girlfriend? Yeah, Shinra told me that you kidnapped my girlfriend. And he's gonna be like, um, bruh, why would you trust Shinra like after everything? It's just kind of like, well, I don't know. I didn't die last time for any weird thing happening with them. So, so they told me I will totally trust them. I saw what happened with the Turks over there, and they just told me to go and do this.
well, in that same scene, and we just saw it recently, and I was like, man, Zach's a little weird in OG Final Fantasy VII. In that same scene where Zach dies, he talks about going back. Like he refers. I mean, it's probably translation issues, but he refers to it as I have a place in Midgard to crash. I'm doing quotations. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing, but he has a place in Midgard to crash, and he's like, oh, I can't go there. Her mom lives there too, and I'm like, the way he says that, like, and I know that this I'm like reading too much into like a short bit of lines, but he sounds very much like, and he is if you play Crisis Core, he sounds very much like a womanizer, a woman in every town, that he can stay at,
Yeah.
and that's what it sounds like. And I'm like, I don't know if him and Eris are really. By the way, I always say Eris, not Aerith, because Eris is what they called her in the original Seven, and they didn't fix
Hey,
that until
okay.
Crisis. I mean, until Kingdom Hearts. So I'm a boomer, so just ignore me. But
Mhm.
whenever I say Eris, correct it to Aerith if you want in your head. But anyways, um, but yeah. I it's funny because every so often, like people, especially like in Crisis Core and Advent Children, when they end up together, I'm like, I don't think they would have been a good couple. Like Zach would
No,
have
no.
cheated
This
on
is
her.
how this is how they correct it. They will bring back the Mandy Moore Aerith at
Okay,
some point.
if they bring back Mandy Moore Eris and let DLC, I will go for it because I actually, I was scared for Mandy Moore. And you know what? They got to bring back Lance Bass Sephiroth too. We got to go all out.
Yes, bring back Lance Bass.
And then
No, but he'll look different from all of them because he'll have the most Kingdom
yeah,
Hearts
exactly. He
things
has like
done
the
to
wing
him.
shit going on. Yeah, like I'll be fine with it. Honestly, like I said, if Tetsuya Nomura is gonna go balls to the wall, just do it. Don't just go full out. If you're gonna ruin Final Fantasy VII for me, just go full out. I really hope someone in the modding scene just remakes Final Fantasy VII on their own. I guess technically you could say that people already have. I downloaded a mod that like destroyed my PC a few months ago, but like,
Oh no.
it was just like it was a retranslation, like a visual upgrade. It was I forgot what it's called. It's like this huge. It's the whole thing, and I guess technically they have, and it even adds a few things, and I'm like, oof. My computer didn't like it though. But anyway, I hope fans do it. That's all I gotta say. That's what I'm looking forward in 2024. Fans to hopefully make good Final
Okay, do we
Fantasy
want to talk
VII
about anything other than Final Fantasy VII Rebirth?
Yes, I'm looking
I like
forward to
how we
Final
spent
Fantasy.
a good amount of time on Final Fantasy VII. We kind of just like brushed past Persona 3,
Yeah,
really.
Oh yeah, Persona 3. I mean, I already said what I had. I mean, Josh.
you still
I mean,
said what you had to say about it. You
It. Just we had so much more to say about this.
uh, it's
Like,
it's funny. I didn't even the video games. I don't think JD even listed video games. I didn't mean to talk about video games this long. I thought I had more to say about like upcoming TV shows. Like I wanted to rant about how
there's an upcoming TV
I
show or
wanted to rant
movie
how
that
yeah, because I was gonna rant about how long Netflix takes, or not even Netflix, all the streaming services take to film seasons. Because we're barely gonna get like Stranger Things season 5. We're barely gonna get a House of the Dragon. We're not getting House of the Dragon this year. I think it's next year. JD,
no,
you put
no.
it on your list.
It says 2024 this year.
I don't know. Anyway, so we're only getting House of the Dragon and Rings of Power, and I'm like, oh my god, Rings of Power was filmed during
Last
the pandemic.
Airbender.
I haven't watched the new Last Airbender, but I'm pretty sure if they're coming out with the season 2, it's gonna take a billion years. Are they even filming the new One Piece next season? Because I feel like that's like
I don't think it got renewed until during the strike. So then it had to be written or like they had to finish writing, and then obviously you have to film and cast it. So it's still in processes.
it's funny because like I just don't know why these things take so long. And I understand it to be renewed, blah blah blah, but I'm like, that's one of my big gripes about why I think streaming will never catch up to TV. And I'm not a boomer who's like, oh, I miss TV. The seasons were more steady and regular every year.
Yeah, I really think that the writer's strike had a lot to do
Oh
with
yeah,
it,
that
as well as
definitely fucked up a lot of
SAG-AFTRA.
shit.
Yeah, like but because that was just necessary to really combat the abuse that was going on because it was churning out product that just wasn't good. I mean, even the volume 4 of Stranger Things, the only real person I liked out of that was probably Joseph Quinn as Eddie, and
Oh, he's dead.
so like a few he might be
Spoilers.
back
How many things
if
do
you
I have
know
to put
some
spoiler
lore
alert
from
for? Man,
Oh, I saw I
if,
saw the trailer where they show his grave and everything like that. It's all graffiti or whatever. No, not
but
the,
there's some
the trailer, but the
D&D
pictures.
some
I don't think it was the
D&D
trailer.
lore he might come back.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I mean, we have
Honestly,
if one could come back as Vecna, that's why.
I ranted about this when we talked about Stranger Things back then, but I found it wild that watching part 4 that even though everyone calls him Vecna, because like they're playing D&D, so they call all the shit D&D shit. I get it.
Yes.
But they don't know that they're being called D&D shit, and by they I mean the enemies, the others. Um
Yeah.
like so
Oh no, they do.
Vecna.
Actually, no, they do know.
No,
They
okay, well,
do know because remember,
eventually someone does call Vecna to his face, and I'm like, why the fuck wasn't his first line back? What? My name's not Vecna? Because he doesn't know any of that lore. He doesn't know that they're calling that. I guess maybe he could have
but
mind controlled somebody and like figured it out, but he shouldn't know that he's being called Vecna.
but no, remember he's doing all the shenanigans throughout the entire series. So like when he does the whole mind flare thing, when it's the weird thing that's controlling people in the third one, and
that's also the
then
mind flayer.
just the fact that he's like Freddy Kruegering like some of the people in part 4, it's kind of just implied like, and also psychic shenanigans. Like I'm pretty like at the same time, remember how 11 can see, or like she was able to chime in on people with her powers. I
Mhm.
think he's been able to do that like the whole time, and he
Oh,
probably
so it's
just
like
knows.
they're calling me Vecna. I should just accept it. I do want to mention, like, I guess the Demogorgon. I could not even tell you what a Demogorgon looks like in D&D off the top of my head. I'm sure I've played against one and we fought one in the old
Okay,
days.
Manuel, I will chime in here. It's not
What?
a Demogorgon. Demogorgon is one of the, I believe he's a demon prince, and that's his name.
Okay, well then that works even better because I don't know. I was gonna say I don't know anything about that anyway, so I'm gonna leave that one alone. But I have faced many a mind flayer in some stupid bullshit that like is total TPK and old school D&D, and in many a game like the gold box, silver box ones. And it annoys me that like a mind flayer, it's still a high level, crazy high level monster, but it is not like a big being, and it's a very humanoid looking, not humanoid, it's anthropomorphic, that's what we're looking for, but it's like an octopus dude. It's a it's like a
Put a picture here,
Cthulhu-looking
Manuel. Don't
motherfucker.
worry.
Huh?
I'll put a picture here.
Yeah, it's a Cthulhu looking motherfucker. And it's not like a giant spider thing like it is in Stranger Things. And I think Stranger Things has like screwed up with a lot of people's things about like how like not everyone expects a mind flayer probably to be a giant one-off Balrog type battle. By the way, did you know Balrogs? Speaking of which, we're talking about Lord of the Rings. Did you know that Balrogs, as Tolkien wrote them, don't have wings?
Oh, we're getting on this debate again.
Did you know that? It's funny.
I've heard the
because, like,
debates, Manuel. Yes.
have you also heard the debate that Tolkien's dragons have 4 feet, 4 legs?
Yeah.
And for some reason in the original version of The Hobbit, like in the first movie, they show him with 4 legs. But when we finally see him as by Smaug, by the way. But when you finally see him in the last movies or the second and third movies, he only has 2, and then he has his other 2 arms are his wings. And by the way, that's a huge dragon debate because technically the wings would be arms. So
It's almost like we made this stuff up and are just trying to classify it afterwards.
well, Tolkien made it up and he put these things down.
Mhm.
Balrogs did not have wings, so every so often you'll watch somebody watch the Ralph Bakshi Lord of the Rings movie, which admittedly is not that great, but you have somebody watch it and they get all like, "What the fuck? What's this Balrog? It's just a dude. He has no wings." It's like, yeah, the Balrog didn't have wings. Like Alan Howe, or one of the artists who became famous for drawing Tolkien shit later on, drew him with wings, and that became canon. Did you know Superman doesn't fly? Anyway.
Okay, he started flying in like the 1930s in the cartoons, and then they added it back into the comics as well because it was a lot easier just to animate him flying rather than doing like the whole running and jumping kind of thing.
I just wanted to make a joke because I wanted to say like technically there's all this shit that like, and I guess it's the whole thing whether you want to consider it canon or not later on. But the Superman one's different. But I'm still upset that Smaug looks. I'm not a fan of wing hands. Well, the Hobbit movies have a ton wrong with them, so me getting upset but the wing hands is the least of the issues.
So are you excited for the Rings of Power, or does it sound like everything's just gonna get a little bit of judgy things?
Honestly, I'm excited for Rings of Power. I'm not even joking. I love Rings of Power. I mean, okay, let me phrase it. I did not love Rings of Power. There are parts I liked about Rings of Power. What upsets me is that, and I hope that this is just the pandemic bullshit, and maybe this season will be better for this, that there wasn't enough world building going on. Like, we have to, spoiler alert for like a franchise if you don't know about it, we have to see 9 human kings at some point in the second season, because if we don't know, they become the ring wraiths. So
is that in the narration?
Yes. So I guess that's not a spoiler, but yeah, technically we have to see 9 human kings, and we have not seen any of them. And yet, no, the Numenor king or whatever, he is not a ring wraith. He never became one. So no, he's not one of them. And I'm like, where are the other 9 kings? And it's like, who are they? Why the fuck did we have this whole plot point about how the whole South Kingdoms had no king? And I'm like, honestly, that felt like bad writing. They should have just made someone the king so that we could make him a ring wraith later on. Like it just felt like, I don't know. I'm looking forward to it though. I hope that it's not crap. At the very least, they're moving into territory that Tolkien actually has written down, so they can't change it that much. There's a very Lucifer-esque story with Sauron that they're going to have to tell, because this is spoiler alert. Sauron, he pretends to be a good guy that's going to be. I'm spoiling what second season has to be, unless they just go against the material they spent like $1 billion on. I think literally. The whole season is going to have to be that Sauron, everyone believes him and thinks he's like this powerful good god, and then he betrays them. So yes, that's my. But I'm looking forward to it. Do you watch any of this fantasy shit?
I mean, I've seen the movies. I have not seen the Rings of Power. Um, but I always hear like everybody who's like really like excited for more Tolkien. It's just kind of like, yeah, no, this is cool. Especially because it's like if all the material is there, you might as well have fun with it and not like you know. Let's just say that I enjoyed some Harry Potter stuff. Just because there was more of that coming out, and it's garbage.
Now
Especially
it's,
because although
I'm
no,
not.
not that it's garbage now. I mean, like the first 7 movies, you could like enjoy reading through the
Oh
first
no,
7
I
books.
was gonna. I
Not
was
like
gonna say. I was gonna
not
say.
like
I
a
don't.
cancelable offense, but definitely the movies that came afterwards with Fantastic Beasts,
Oh, those
they
are
are
terrible.
terrible. Like no one was
They
eaten there. Like
those are akin to the Hobbit movies. Like standalone. Don't talk about J.K. Rowling. They're still bad movies. They're big dumb
no,
bad movies.
Tolkien spoke before he died, though.
My big gripe about Harry Potter things, I said this before, is I never liked the book series. I felt like it people like to make the excuse that it grew up with the fans. And like it, if you want to say that, it technically didn't. Like it still felt like a childish thing that like just started to get more violent. And I mean that in a badly written way. It's like
No, it was
everything.
badly written. Someone who knows. Okay, when I say
Oh, I mean,
knows,
it's badly
clearly.
written too. It's like Stephanie Meyer badly written. But anyway,
Okay, let's not go that far, Manuel.
Hold up. J.K. Rowling is a stupid piece of shit, garbage person. But she did
we're
write
getting
those
canceled.
first 7 books like pretty okay in terms of a mystery novel like aspect. So there's still like reading books 1
Mhm.
through
Yeah.
7.
I remember reading part 3. I'll never forget this. I'll never forget this. And it's like, oh my god, there's a werewolf, and then we have a teacher named Remus Lupin.
Okay, Manuel, but not all of us lived through the rise and fall of Rome like you did.
both of
Yes,
his
we're
names,
not all.
both of his names are wolf
Yes,
references.
but once again,
Remus.
Manuel, you lived through the rise and fall of Rome. You were there with Romulus and Remus. I'm pretty sure you actually
yeah.
killed one of them
I'm
and blamed it on the
going to
other.
give you
Honestly,
that she would
Hermione
make
should
an
have known.
offensive meme
Hermione should
later.
have
Okay,
known.
you know what? That's fair.
Hermione should have known
But
at
you
the
need to
very
know
least.
Latin to get the
No,
last one.
no, she couldn't know. She wasn't able to know because her brain was fried from studying so much.
I mean, I knew what the word lupin meant. By the way, lupine. I knew what that word meant when I was about her age. Like when I forgot where I learned it. I think because of werewolf shit. Like I learned what that word meant. So honestly, that's the
Okay,
thing.
but
Not
Manuel,
even
if
a
your
book
name
thing.
decides what you are, why is she not a farmer?
Anyway, it doesn't matter. The first
I
thing,
just want.
if we actually live in a magic world and we accept that magic things exist, my first thought would be homeboy who has the wolf name. And by the way, who the fuck named him that? Because were his parents waiting for him to become a werewolf? It's like the Sub-Zero thing. The Mortal Kombat Sub-Zero character. Apparently he was called Sub-Zero before he got his ice powers. And I'm like, who
No, he
named him
was named. No,
Remus?
he was named something else before he was Sub-Zero.
Yeah, but I
Okay,
mean, like, he had his ninja name. If you ever played Mythologies, he was already called Sub-Zero before he got his ice powers. But I don't think anyone counts Mythologies anymore. Everyone pretends that game doesn't exist. But anyways, they were 10. You think I knew I knew what Lupin was when I was 10. And once again, I don't think it was because of books. I think it was because I was watching werewolf movies I shouldn't have been. But still, I knew what lupine meant. Like it's wolf-like, and I knew what Remus was from school. Like I don't know if we and I went to bad LA public school, and I still knew who Romulus and Remus were.
okay, we did games. We
Genuinely, I
kind of
just
did
wanted to.
TV. Film? Do we want to spend our last 15 minutes on film?
I didn't know there was a Dune prequel. What the what the
I
fuck?
didn't
That's a
know
TV
that we had.
series.
Oh,
I
never
didn't
mind.
know that we had stopped yet. I just genuinely just wanted to say that, like, hey, Rings of Power sounds like it's pretty decent. Haven't seen it yet, and I'll get around to it. But I mean, The Hobbit, outside of just being unnecessarily drawn out, was it like 3 movies or 4 movies? I really
3.
feel like they like drew out. It was 3. Yeah, no, that probably could have been like at most probably 2. Otherwise, they could have easily told it just in 1. But at least it looked pretty.
I'm upset there's another Dune movie because we didn't need that split into two. I'm still wondering when the fuck Toxic Avenger is gonna come out because it's like
Okay, you're really bringing up your boomer senses with this one. So, like, I'm just gonna say one, Dune one, the first half of Dune, perfectly fine. Second half coming out, pretty sure it's also gonna be good. But you can't tell me with the amount of world building that they had to do that you're just kind of like, yeah, they could have easily been one movie. Fucking shut the hell up.
he's talking shit. He's talking shit to me. No, but like
Yeah, I'm talking shit right now.
I do think that Dune could have been told in one movie. There's stuff that you could have cut out. And no, I know the David Lynch movie wasn't that great, but Frank Herbert liked it. um, so I'm more interested in this TV show that I only found out about because of JD's list. Is that based on Brian Herbert's books and
Which
Kevin
one?
G. Anderson? The prequel series, is that
I
based
have no
off?
idea.
Oh.
It's not listed. It just says it's a prequel set 10,000 years before Dune.
Also, for the record, Delulu God, wait, you're the one who said that? No, it was Katsu. I do think that the original Lupin, the book, Arsene Lupin or whatever,
Mhm.
I do think his name was meant to reference like something wolf-like, just like as in the sneaky part of it, the
I
slinking.
thought that would be a fox. I thought
Yeah,
foxes were known for being sneaky, not wolves.
I don't make up. I mean, like it's a for the record, Lupin, all this shit. I believe they all come from the same word, and I think that it means like that's what it means. Like, and I think that's a word in French. Like, it's like, hey, Mr. Wolf, and there's people named Wolf. There's like, like it's the same thing. If I had a teacher named
Oh, you're telling us that like if someone just happens to have the name Wolf or something involved, that it's because it's a
if
literal thing.
Okay,
if
okay.
there was a
That's
werewolf,
racist.
if there was
That's
a
very
werewolf,
racist.
if there was a werewolf that we knew was like slinking around the fucking like my house or whatever, I would look at the person named Wolf first. Yes, I'm sorry if that's racist. I will look at you like Mr. Wolf. I'm gonna put you in a room by yourself when the full moon comes out, and I will shoot you if you become a wolf. Or you'll kill me. I don't know, but we'll cross
So
that bridge when we
you're
come to
playing
it.
the Among Us is what you're telling me.
I will
Okay,
kill a werewolf.
film.
Anyways, sorry. I wonder if there's any werewolf movies coming out this year. I doubt it. Speaking of which, speaking of actually werewolf movies, not related at all. At all. The new Godzilla vs King Kong movie is coming out, and I'm annoyed by that. Not because I don't want to see another Godzilla vs King Kong movie. Not
What?
that I don't want. I don't know why is it. Why does it have to be another Godzilla Kong movie? I don't think they're fighting each other. I think
They're
they're kind of like
teaming up
homies
this
now.
time.
Yeah, they're homies this time. But I don't think we needed that. I think we could have just like I don't know how much um what the fuck's the studio that makes it? I don't know how much they own
Legendary.
of the Toho. Yeah, I don't know how much they own of the legendary licenses. Just make up some new shit. Come up with some new
Oh
monsters.
no, sorry. Legendary is the studio making the movie. Toho is the original studio.
Where are all the monsters that we saw at the end of King of Monsters? Like they showed like that fucking half ape, like woolly mammoth looking thing. Where the fuck's he been? Bring him back. That fucking there's a bunch of other monsters. Like we could do this. We could do this. Bring back Ghidorah. Like bring back Rodan. Well, actually, Rodan, he's not bought at all the first time. I'm tired of Old Man Kong. I don't know if you followed that. By the way, Kong's an old person in this one. He's like Boomer Kong. Is he still Boomer in the new one? Does he have a kid? Does it? Have you
I
seen
don't. I haven't watched any of the movies, Manuel. I'm going to tell you that.
You haven't? Okay.
No, I haven't watched.
Okay.
The most recent Godzilla movie I watched, Manuel, was what's the one that introduces Mothra into Godzilla?
I thought I was amongst friends here. Anyway, I love Godzilla. It was one of my favorite franchises as a kid. So I've been keeping abreast of them all. I still have not watched Minus One. I hate myself, but I watched all the others. But
You haven't seen -1 yet?
I know. Don't remind me. But
You're
anyway,
hating on another Godzilla King Kong movie that I didn't know was coming out because I
but
thought we were
honestly, I didn't know either from
very
JD's list. But now the MonsterVerse is not just the Godzilla movies. It's the Godzilla movies and the new King Kong movies, and not the Peter Jackson one. But it starts with Skull Island, I think it was
Skull
called.
Island.
Yeah, Skull
And-
Island, yeah.
Well, I mean, it technically started with was it just? I think it was just Godzilla.
Yeah. And the Skull Island one, for those who haven't seen it, it's a period movie. It takes place like I think circa the original King Kong, but ish, or maybe the 50s, I don't know. It's a period movie though. And then we move forward to the modern times, like where the other Godzilla movies take place, like now. So that Kong is Old Man Kong. It's like Logan from Wolverine, like Old Man Logan. he's old, he's half gray, he's like his eyes fucked up, you know. And I'm just tired of seeing old Kong. It's like have a kid and have the kid like, you know, beat people up or something. Why doesn't Godzilla have a kid? That's what we all need. We all need
They
another
already did that, Manuel.
You're telling me you need King of the Monsters, New Avengers?
yes.
Manuel,
Honestly,
didn't
we
they
need
already
more
do
monsters
Godzilla Jr.?
in this
Son
one.
of Godzilla?
Oh yeah. Well, the original one, everyone hated it. We gotta do that again. Honestly, I just want people. I want to see people.
Everyone hated it. Do that again.
I liked it. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyways, what other movies are coming out this year that I'm excited about? I have a list. Hold on. Terrifier 3. Um, I have a love-hate relationship with the Terrifier movies, and it's not for the reason most people have with them. Terrifier is the. Have you guys seen Terrifier? Has JD
No.
seen Terrifier?
I
Oh,
have
what?
not seen
Why was it on your
Terrifiers
list
1 or
then,
2.
JD?
I just picked random movies every day, Manuel, and
Okay,
just
well,
watched what I wanted to watch.
I like Terrifier 1. It's a good movie, but it's like it felt like he had like a 30-minute movie and then padded it to an hour.
Oh, that's me
But
with skin in my ring.
Terrifier 2 is a 90-minute movie that's 2.5 hours long. And I'm not exaggerating. That movie, like I've mentioned this many times before, there's an old saying amongst like any filmmaking peoples that if you shake any good movie, like 10 minutes will come out. The time will change depending who you ask, but like you shake any good movie, like, you know, minutes will come out because you could always tighten things up.
Are you saying, like, shake a good movie, or if we're talking in terms of a
Oh, shake a
script,
good
when you're
movie.
just having to put in an essay in the next day, and you have to bullshit 15 pages worth of wording? So, like, are you just telling me that they had to bullshit so much to add to the runtime by adding more to the script?
No, honestly, that's the way. Like I almost feel like Damien, no, something Leone. I forget his name. I think it's Damien Leone. Actually, I think I just said his name. That dude, he writes, directs, produces, he does everything in it, and he also edits. And I think that he's a good example of why somebody who's such like an auteur, and I mean the auteur as in like that the mode of directing, like somebody who's involved with everything, they shouldn't also
Yeah.
edit. Because I could tell you right now, the whole issue probably is that he shot it. He had all the shit in his head when he shot it, and he doesn't want to see it not on the screen. And sometimes you just have to
So
make
he
those
just
choices.
let go of some stuff. He literally just was like, "I have this. I wanna add it to the movie, even if it could literally use a little bit of skimming, but no,
Yeah,
be
exactly.
damned
Kill
if
your
I'm in there."
darlings. That's my big thing. Like Terrifier 2 is a good movie. It is an hour too long. Actually, it's like 45 minutes too long. I don't think I can cut a full hour out of it. But I could if I just took the movie right now and it would look like shit because I don't have the actual footage. I would just be cutting it out like, you know, the movie as it exists. But I could edit out a good 45 minutes of that and it would be all the better for it. Release the manual cut. Exactly. Please. If you're watching this, Damien Leone, or I probably got your name wrong.
No, that's his
And I know
name.
you. Oh, if you're watching this, Damien Leone, and I've met you before, because fun fact, I can't remember her name off the top of my head. Something Cochran, the one of the girls who very famously in the first movie they hang her up naked and they cut her from her crotch to her head, like upside down. They cut her like that very famously. She appeared in the Class Nukem High movies, the Return to Class Nukem High, and I met her several times. That was still when I was. That's how long that movie took to come out. Is I was still doing shit for Trauma on and off when she was doing like pre-production for that one.
Catherine
Anyways,
Corcoran.
there you go. And she was also at Molly's premiere because like, uh, I think because she's just local and is a Trauma friend. But yeah, and by Molly's premiere I mean BC Butcher. But anyway. But yeah, the first I think Classic Nukem High came out like they were filming it in 2008 or 9 or some bullshit ages ago. Anyway, yeah, Terrifier 3. I already tell you right now it's gonna be 3 hours long, and you could cut an hour out of it easily. Also, Chris Jericho's in the second Terrifier movie. He has a cameo at the end. I don't know if that's a spoiler, but like, Chris, I remember blew my mind. We watched it in Vegas, and I went to go take a shower. I thought the movie was over, and I came back out, and it's like, "You missed Chris Jericho's cameo," and I'm like, "You guys are joking," because we had to watch wrestling that day. And I'm like, "You guys are joking." I thought they were just making a really bad joke, but no, I missed Chris Jericho's cameo. It was a post-credit sequence. Anyway, but yeah, JD, what are you looking forward to? We ranted about our shit for like an hour and a half, and never asked you.
Yeah, actually, we went over a lot of the stuff I'm looking forward to. I mean, House of the Dragon season 2 is supposed to premiere this year, so I'm looking forward to that. Like one of the big things that comes to the top of my head for this year is Wind and Truth, the 5th book of the Stormlight Archive series.
Oh, that's Danny. Who the fuck is Danny Brown? I totally made up that name.
You mean Dan Brown?
Yeah, Danny Brown.
No, it's not Dan Brown.
I meant Brian Sanderson though. That's the name.
Brandon Sanderson.
Brandon. I said
yes.
Brian. Yeah, Brandon.
It's the closing of the first half of the series.
Mm.
So it's supposed to be a 10-book long in 2 5-set parts.
Are they still making Wheel of Time?
The TV series, yes, I believe it has been renewed for season 3.
Okay.
Season 2 came out last year.
Okay, yeah, I remember that. It just popped in my head. I've not watched like it for a while, but yeah, I'm like, okay. Because for those who don't know, Brian Sanderson,
Brandon,
I'm gonna call him Brian.
His name is Brandon.
He's Brian now. Brandon Sanderson. He had a finished Wheel of Time after Robert Jordan passed away.
Mm-hmm.
And he's probably gonna have to do the same thing for George R. Martin.
I believe he's already said he won't do that.
Exactly, he won't do that, and George R. Martin, I'm sure, wouldn't let him. But still,
I mean, yeah, I believe Martin's instructions as of right now are to just let it die if he dies.
Okay, I'm saying this right now, JD. Josh,
his estate, it might not let it.
No. If he passes away, we're gonna go to his house and we're gonna just fucking steal the manuscript, the 14 whatever 100 pages he's written so far. We're gonna just steal it.
Okay, man.
It's gonna really get stolen, and they're gonna look back on this, and I'm gonna get arrested.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. I still want to describe some of the book because it's the climax of part 1, essentially, of the series. Which sounds weird that this is the 5th book, but a lot of it has been building up to this moment. And I'm just excited to see how it affects not only the world it takes place on, but the kind of greater universe a lot of his books take place in.
Wait, they're remaking Shogun? Sorry, I'm reading your list.
Yes, they're making Shogun as a TV series.
It already was, but yeah, they're remaking Shogun. Okay. And 3 Body Problem, that's a Chinese thing.
Yes.
Is it still Chinese? Or is it like an American production?
I believe it's a co-production.
Oh, okay. So I'm reading it. Listen,
the guys who show ran Game of Thrones are on it too.
Oh, D&D?
Yes. I'll put their names right here. I cannot remember their first names.
I don't remember them either. I just know it's D&D.
I think it's Dan something and DB something or else. It'll be right here.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm looking. I wish I looked at your list earlier. You have a lot of good shit on here.
Sam,
they're making a Beetlejuice 2?
Yes, they are finally making Beetlejuice 2.
Why?
Because we still have a perfectly good Michael Keaton around, so we might as well.
Yeah.
That's gonna be kind of an old Beetlejuice.
I mean, he's already dead. So what's that gonna do?
What are these movies that? Oh, it's Sonic 3. Never mind. Okay, Sonic 3. I'm looking forward to that too. Are we gonna have?
I'm looking forward to Sonic 3. So good. Wait up, hold up. I want to talk about Deadpool 3. There's Roadhouse with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh, did you hear about Roadhouse though? How its director is boycotting the premiere because Amazon isn't releasing it in theaters.
Oh, I didn't know that was going down. Oh shit!
I didn't know that was. I'm not gonna lie. That movie did not have theaters.
Isn't joining him on that. Wow.
He's an asshole. I'm just kidding. I don't know anything about that fight, but
I think that's a sentiment shared by a lot of people, Manuel. So you're not really in the minority or in a small minority there.
Wait, is that Twisters or Remake?
No, it's a sequel.
Oh, Twisters.
It's like the Aliens to Alien, in that they just put the S on the end and it's a sequel now.
Really quick on Deadpool 3, and then I want to talk about Sonic 3. But Deadpool 3. Here's what I think is going to be the most out-of-pocket reference, because they already referenced that it's a multiverse thing, which I think is just going to be poking fun at like everything with the MCU's like multiverse saga or whatever. But I genuinely think that the most out-of-pocket like superhero multiverse reveal will be Ben Affleck's Daredevil.
Oh yeah, that has to happen.
I mean, I'm expecting it to basically just be Deadpool kills the Fox universe. So yeah.
Yeah, is he gonna? Isn't that the whole point? Like he's gonna kill all the X-Men, or like the X-Men who are still around. Who the fuck played Phoenix? Does anyone even know who played Phoenix in that movie, Dark Phoenix?
Oh, Sophie Turner.
Wait,
Oh, I think everyone
Yeah.
well, okay, apparently I just
Uh,
didn't.
I mean, it's Sansa from Game of Thrones.
Oh shit! I didn't. Okay, I wonder why that name sounded familiar. Okay. Yeah, Beetlejuice 2, Terrifier 3, Gladiator 2. It's been 20 years. Why? Oh,
Because we were not entertained by the lack of
Apparently.
Gladiator for 20 years.
I am excited for Karate Kid 6, but let's talk about Sonic 3. What's Sonic 3 supposed? Who are they supposed to be bringing on
Shadow.
that one? Oh, they're not.
Yeah.
Okay,
They
so it's
they
just gonna be
okay.
like it's not just a face
I'm gonna
mom.
I'm gonna say Sonic 2 is unnecessarily bloated. Sonic 2 is very unnecessarily bloated. They literally, when I heard them name drop Gun in Sonic 2, I was like, we're gonna get Shadow next? Is that why we have this whole thing? Because Gun was introduced in Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. So are we getting Shadow? But genuinely, there's a lot in Sonic 2. Like the way that you're saying about Terrifier 2 being like, you know, a 2 hour, it's a 1 hour and a half movie that's like 2.5 hours long.
Which one? Yeah, Terrifier 2.
What the fuck are you reading? Oh my gosh.
Sorry,
Um,
I was replying to the comment, but yes, it was Terrifier 2.
oh,
Keep going.
replying to the what, even the Disney or was that
No,
Ryan
sorry, I was
Reynolds
replying to the
refused to have
comment.
She-Hulk
No, I was
in
okay. Okay, hold on,
Deadpool?
hold on, hold on, hold on, real
What?
fast. I was replying to the comment. So, Delulu God said that Shogun sounds like it'd be Last Samurai, and I'm like, if you've never seen Shogun, it basically is the Last Samurai. The Last Samurai is the worst movie of all time because it takes it's historical fiction in the worst sense. They could have just
Mhm.
told the real historical story. They could have put a white savior in it too. I don't fucking care about that. It's the fact that they not only put a white savior in the movie, but then they told fake shit.
Yeah.
Like that's not the way
Totally.
the Last Samurai. Anyways, keep going, keep going. Sorry, 2.5 hour movie. Sorry, I was distracted.
No, no, it's okay. This made sense. It just sounded like you were replying to a hater or something, and I was just kind of like, what are you doing?
Oh, you saw me just
uh,
distractedly typing. But you're saying Sonic 3 bloated.
yeah, no, I just feel like it's the same as like the Terrifier 2 that you brought up. There's a lot in Sonic 2 that just feels like it drags on, especially for a child's movie. I think as a Sonic fan, there's memeable shit or things that you can enjoy, but I really feel like it just goes on for too long. Some scenes you could cut out, but yeah, I think the entirety of Sonic 2's bloated portions are just meant for Sonic 3.
I'm hoping. I was hoping that we get Amy, and I guess technically we still could. Maybe just never announced it. But like, it's funny because like Sonic gets a lot of shit in the video game universe for always adding in all these like pointless extra characters. But they're
Yeah.
adding maybe that's why. But like I wish they would add them in much faster in the movies. It's taking so long to get like the cast. At least the core cast. Like why the fuck isn't Amy here?
I
Amy
think if Amy doesn't show up,
Amy
well,
came before
here's the other
Tails.
thing. Like, okay, Sonic got like transported somewhere else when he was a fucking child. So either like a random like hedgehog girl shows up and also is like given enough time to like just fall in love with Sonic. I genuinely feel that Amy might not happen only because of Sonic's surrogate family potentially filling in that role. That's why I also feel that we may or may not even get a Rouge the Bat. That really depends. Because like this is Sonic Adventure 2 battle like territory. They didn't even bother with Sonic Adventure 1. So like the other thing on people's minds is like, so did like despite the fact that Crush 40 did that reunion thing a little while ago, are they like actually gonna come back for this one?
I hope that we get a Rouge the Bat because then we can go full circle and all. Sorry, I'm like dying here on all the very crazy. What's the word I'm looking for? Rule 34 shit. I want to see what Rouge the Bat would look like
Of
in this
course, yeah,
universe.
yeah, of course. So you do want Rouge to the Bat for Rule 34.
Hell yeah!
I'm
I'm
trying to
just
bring
kidding.
up I'm trying to bring up
Judging.
Crush 40 back into your damn like A to J
I'm gonna
connections,
be honest.
okay?
I'm gonna be honest with you. Like I know who Crush 40
Yeah.
is now. I'm not stupid. It's the people who do all the music for like the Sonic Adventure games, including the really amazing openings from Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. Um,
Yeah.
but there was a very long time ago, we did like a Sonic episode on UPZ, like episode 50 or something, like 2019, and
Mhm.
Nyaru mentioned Crush 40, and I had no idea who they were.
What?
Yes. So I
In
just wanted to point out.
2019. in
I just wanted to play.
2019.
I had no idea. Like I don't think I associated the name. Like I don't think I ever thought about who the fuck that group that they were a group. I just thought they were in-house Sega people just doing the music. But yeah, I'm stupid. That's my turn in my Sonic badge. Talk right there. I'm
I'm
also
genuinely,
hmm?
yeah, go for it.
No, I'm also like I'm very boomer when it comes to Sonic Adventure too. I mean Sonic Adventure as well. I love Sonic Adventure. They were some of my they're probably my favorite Sonic games. Period. But
Mhm.
I don't like any modern version. I only like the Dreamcast ones, and that's
Okay.
mainly for content differences. And I don't think anyone's really played those. And you can't play them on emulator properly because everything involving the chows are on the fucking VMUs. So
Mhm.
if you want to be a boomer like Manuel, you have to go out and buy a Dreamcast Sonic Adventure 1, a working
Or
VMU.
or you still have your 2001 or 2002 release for the GameCube with your memory
Eh,
cards on your
eh,
Wii, where you could still play your Sonic Adventure
eh.
2.
When I was younger, I used to judge people who were like, "I love Sonic." And by the way, I mean a lot younger, like when I was still like in high school, young. I used to judge
Yeah.
the Sonic Adventure fans who'd be like, "I love Sonic Adventure 2, my favorite games," and I'm like, "Did you play it on the Dreamcast or the Wii? I mean the Wii or the GameCube?" And
You have to
it
be
was
that
always the
you have to
GameCube.
be that
Yeah,
hipster.
I mean,
You have to be
I was like 17 or
that.
18 to be fair, so like I was stupid, but still, I would always say that. And, it was always GameCube. Nobody ever said Dreamcast, and I would judge them, not hate them. I would just judge them so hard.
It
That's
was
not the
it
real
was
version.
released on a console that was sent out to die before the PlayStation 2.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Like I remember, like we're getting out topic here. Don't worry, JD. We'll wrap it up. But like,
Hmm.
I remember, like I was that kid. It was like Dreamcast is before its time, and you can still make the argument today. But now that I've gotten older and I realize more, Sega just didn't know what the fuck they were doing. They lucked out one time and just fucked up everything else in their whole time. So the Dreamcast was just never going to succeed. It was not ahead of its time. It was a backwards mid-level console that just never it was never going to succeed. It was a waste of money.
It could play arcade console games
I
though,
do
really good at
I
the
do have an
time.
I do have an almost near perfect Dreamcast collection that one day I'm gonna and I have all the grails. I have all the hard to find shit. So one day I'm gonna just fill it up with all the NFL 2K, whatever the fuck I never bought, and just finish it. I have like 150 some odd games, more than that, maybe it's 200, and like I have all the rare shit. I think it's only 200 and something officially released games. So yeah, I'm almost there. That's my claim to fame. And no matter how poor I get, I won't sell those. Somebody bury me with those, or when I die, burn them. I'll burn them myself. If I have enough strength, I'll be like, hold on. I need to destroy my Dreamcast collection so nobody can take it from me. Is that terrible? Am I a terrible person?
Yes,
Because I want
Manuel.
to wrap it up on that note. Let's wrap it up. I'm a terrible person. JD, I mean Josh, want to any closing words on your favorite shit? Crush 40. Oh, why'd you bring up Crush 40? Sorry. You can
Because you were
finish that.
talking Sonic, weren't you?
Yeah,
I would.
I was talking Sonic. I
I
was trying to bring a Crush 40 because I thought maybe that would be like kind of relevant also back to like A to J a little bit because I didn't know even their paths. I also would have said I thought the same thing that Manuel thought. They were an
oh yeah.
in-house based group that they just used for like the music and it just happened to be banger. But like yeah, no, that was very much like Neuroside. So I thought maybe you were gonna have like more like of a background or knowledge of that, and I was just kind of
Oh well, now
curious.
I
But
do. I mean, now I do. Like I know that they released. They have a couple. They have an album. Like I think that came out circa Sonic Adventure 1 that recently got a vinyl release, and like a friend of mine was talking about it. I'll have to Google that, show to JD later if he doesn't find it on his own, because I'm sure I'm getting some of these details wrong. But I'm not gonna lie, my Crush 40 knowledge has come of recent years. I would love to
oh, okay.
interview them at some point if they or somebody behind Sonic Event. I'll interview anyone. Yuji Naka, are you in prison yet? I'll interview you. Wait, is he the one in
Um,
prison? Yeah, he's the one in prison. But yes, and it won't be about
anyway,
prison, I swear.
I really hope that they get a call. I kind of hope it's kind of stupid, but I really do hope that we can get like live and learn somehow, like in the
Oh,
movie. But
yes.
it has to be pulled off good. It can't be like that Power Rangers movie from like 2017 where like just out of nowhere you end up hearing the like 90s Power Rangers theme just like thrown into the movie and there's like no explanation for it and it's just kind of like yeah, it's just there. It's not given like diegetic moment, like in Guardians or like whatever. It's kind of like I hope they do a little bit more than just that.
Oh man, we'll save this topic for another day. But there's a whole topic about musicals and how like I remember I think you were talking about it at one point about or somebody was talking about Mean Girls on a recent podcast and very recently, and I didn't know that was a musical. I didn't know.
No, the musical came after.
No,
Originally,
no,
it's
he
a
means
novel,
new
then it was
the
a
new
movie.
one.
New remake. It's a musical. It's a musical version, and like it
Based off
reminded me.
Broadway. Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that that's what I thought it was a remake. And apparently, I only found out about this recently when I kept seeing articles about it. Apparently, that's Hollywood's strategy now for musicals is to lie, to not say.
Basically,
Well, not, I don't know if it's considered lying or lie by
hide
omission.
it as much as they can.
Yes, by not saying they're musicals. Like I didn't know The New Color Purple was a musical. I didn't know Wonka was a musical. I saw Wonka, but I didn't know it was a musical. I saw that recently. I didn't know it was a musical before I watched it.
And to
And
be fair, the Wonka and the Chocolate Factory wasn't specified as a musical, and that just
none of
happened
them
to
were.
be a musical.
No,
It's funny because like apparently studios have been saying a bold new take, like that's the code word for secret musical. It's like
Wait, hold up.
I'm
Would
not
you
making that
say
up. That
that?
really is the terminology.
So you're saying that this is the terminology and the bold new take? So you would say that a game studio calling a game a remake is actually just a sequel in disguise. It's
That
also a bold new take.
oh, are we gonna circle back to
yeah, I
like
think
how
we're
that's
we're,
your
we're bookending this.
yeah.
I'm just
I'm
saying, what if we're screwed? What if we play Reload and all of a sudden it's about making sure the protagonist gets to not be Unis honest by the end of it?
Okay,
Oh yeah.
apparently people are already
Deluca-
suspecting that because
record-
Tara
sorry.
Platt's back as one character but not as her other character?
Oh
Yeah. So like the whole cast got recasted except for Tara Platt. And when I heard that, I'm like, yeah, Elizabeth, probably this is it because she said at the end of the journey.
Wait,
No,
are
not
you
the end of the
saying
journey.
they're gonna
At
meet
the
the
end of
other
the answer.
versions? Like they're gonna meet Steve, whatever the
No,
fuck?
at the end of
Cloud?
the answer. Hear me out. At the end of the answer and in Persona 4 Arena,
Oh,
okay?
Persona. Okay, never mind. Talking about 7.
In
Anyway, go on.
Persona 4 Arena and in Persona 3 The Answer, it stated that Elizabeth says, even though it is impossible for what happened to the Persona 3 protagonist to be undone, I'm gonna see if I can find an answer. A lot of it just is chalked up to the fact that they like had like a very close relationship because of Fess. It was more so because of Fess. She was added as an actual person that could like join in, that you could like have interactions with. But yeah, she says at the end of the answer, they figure out like, oh, there's something that due to the protagonist dying or whatever, he can't not be in the seal thing that he is in. Otherwise, humans like collective depression will like set the end of the world. And so she's like, okay, it might be impossible, but I'm gonna try and find a way. And then in Persona 4 Arena, which is like a sequel to Persona 3 and 4. She's like, yeah, I'm still trying to figure out what that is, but I'm gonna go dick around and do some other things like in the meantime. So if she's still back as the same person, it could be quite possible we're gonna get an Aerith situation where it's just kind of like, okay, guys, I know you have a whole ass plot going on, but I can't
Here's
have
Mandy
things play
Moore.
a certain way.
Okay, Manuel.
Here's Mandy Moore.
What are we doing this week?
Hold on. Here's Christy Carlson Romano as Yuffie gonna be all like, hey, doing that whole little sit down on the bed thing next to me. What the fuck that is from the original one. It's gonna all get creepy.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of which, tomorrow we play more Final Fantasy VII. Like I said, we already have a blue and a green chocobo. I forgot their names. I know one of them is called Waffle. I've got the other one's name. Midori. And we're gonna race them a bit so they get higher in rank. Then we're gonna make them do the deed. Even though they're brother and sister, I didn't even think about that. They are 100% brother and sister, and they're gonna give birth to the black one. Thank God the black one will have a new chocobo to do the deed with, and they're gonna fall. And then we're gonna have a gold. Hopefully, we can do as much of that as we can tomorrow. Apparently, we're just chocobo breeding. That's what the stream has become. We're at that point where I think technically we're only about we're about to do the submarine shit. So we only have like 3 or 4 more story related shits to finish. We're almost done. So yeah, that's that. And then Friday's Drink Talk Roll, and the next Tuesday UPZ again. And we'll see about next Tuesday what we'll talk about then. I promise it won't be just Final Fantasy VII Rebirth for 45 minutes.
All right.
Actually, I can't promise that, but we'll try not to be. I can't promise that. Because the game will be close to release by that point. It's coming out soon. I don't know exactly when, but it's coming out like the 14th or like sometime around Valentine's Day. It's coming
Something
out
like
soon.
that.
So yeah. Anyways, peace out.
Good night, everybody.
Interviews will be up soon. Shout out to Ed, our current patron, patreon.com/A to J Connections if you want to help us out. If not, keep watching. Thank you for watching. Peace out. Thank you.
Good night, everybody.